everyone, it's me, Maya, and welcome to my channel. Today I will be reviewing Far, Far Away by Tom McNeal. I got this book from Book Outlet, and it was one of those where I did a big haul and I just wanted to get a lot of cheaper books. I definitely didn't expect to like it so much. This story follows Jeremy Johnson Johnson. Johnson is his middle name. I don't know why his mother did that to him, but that's what his name is. And he lives in this small village, which I believe is in America, which is I thought was really interesting because you really don't see a lot of those villages in any place other than Europe. But it's cool how the author sort of transposed it onto an American setting. Jeremy Johnson lives in this small town village, and he hears voices, and it's actually he hears a voice, and this is the voice of Jacob Grimm, or Jacob Grimm, one of the authors of the Grimm Tales. So Jacob gives Jeremy advice. He kind of helps Jeremy with his studies, and is also meant to protect Jeremy from this finder of occasions that wants to hurt him. And in their town, there is this bakery. When there's green smoke coming up from the bakery, they know that the princess tarts are ready. And there's this big legend that if you look on someone while you're taking the first bite, you're gonna fall in love with them. And that's what happened to Jeremy's mother, or so they say. It never really goes into whether the princess tart legend is real or not, but it's kind of interesting how it kind of plays the backdrop between Jeremy and the love interest, who is Ginger. And I don't know how I feel about that sort of setup, because they never really tell you whether or not this curse or spell is real. Because what happened to Jeremy's mother, it kind of looks like she wasn't happy in the town anyway, so maybe the spell is real, or maybe it's not, or you don't really know if it's real, so they're really not trying to take any chances. But I don't know how I feel, because it looks like Ginger had another love interest, or there was someone else that was in love with her. I don't know if it was reciprocated, but if Ginger and Jeremy got spelled together, what happens to the other guy? That doesn't seem really fair to him. And in case you haven't noticed, there's probably going to be spoilers in this discussion. Sorry if I spoiled it for you. So there's that, which I didn't really like, but I love the story as a whole because it really reads like a modern fairy tale. You have Jacob narrating the story, which really works out well because of what happens to Jeremy, and it's just this mind-blowing. There's more that Jacob needs to learn as a result, and there's more that Jeremy needs to learn as a result. And it's so crazy. So I don't even know where to start. I would definitely say I'm going to say this is YA. Because some of the stuff that they get into is just like, this is not for kids, this is not for kids, this is not for kids. Oh my god, this is not for kids. So I definitely would say this is a YA novel. It gets very dark. Not darker than Dorothy Must Die, but it gets bad. And I don't want to give away the ending, but I feel like I'm going to end up giving away the ending. So, again, there's going to be spoilers. Read the book first. I'm telling you, it's a good book. It's definitely great. So read it first and then come back so we can talk about it. But it gets dark, and it's like I was saying before, this is a modern fairy tale. So if you remember a lot of the Grimm tales, the evil is vanquished and the good always have a happily ever ending, but the good generally has to go through this long, arduous journey in order to get their happily ever after ending. And we see that a lot in Jeremy's story. He gets, what's the word? The town gives him the cold shoulder for certain things that he does, which may have been directly or indirectly. He has to go through a lot, and he has Jacob with him, and he has Ginger occasionally, but there's a lot going on in the story, but it never goes the way you think that it's going to go. And I personally love that about a book, because I love a book to surprise me. I don't like to be able to guess what's going to happen. Now for this one, I kind of guessed what was going to happen because, and here's how my mind thinks. I really love mystery stories, and usually the person that is the least likely to be the suspect is usually the suspect. So in this case, the kindly, I'm sorry, I'm going to spoil this, the kindly Sven is just so nice, and he's probably, you wouldn't really expect it from him, but so that's why I was like, okay, it's him. But what kept me reading was, okay, so it's might be him, it's probably him, but why? Like, why is he the finder of occasions that's trying to hurt Jeremy? Like, why is he doing this? And I think what they found out throughout the novel is that he's lonely and he wants people to stay with him. That is no justification, and it gets really creepy, and it's just like, oh my god. If you know the show Criminal Minds, think about that. And if you're okay with it getting a little bit dark and things just getting a little bit creepy, you'll be okay. But it doesn't get like as far as like serial murder creepy, but it gets a little bit close. Because what happens is that Sven, and I'm so sorry for, I feel kind of bad for giving it away, but I really want to be able to talk about it. Sven takes Jeremy and Ginger because they've been shunned by the town. He kindly takes them to some woods, and in my mind, I hate it. I hate it when the characters do stupid things. So I could see that, hey, when someone tells you that they're going to take you to the woods, you're not coming back. But that besides the point. So it ends up that Sven is really lonely. He's came into this new town, and I guess he just wants friends. I don't know why you can't just ask people to be your friend. But he ends up kidnapping Ginger and Jeremy. And that he ends up keeping them captive for a couple of months, and this other kid, and I'm just like, what is happening? So like the last half of the book, or last third of the book, I'm not really good with fractions. It's like them being captive and trying to deal with like being held captive. And so eventually it gets found out that Sven has the children, and he makes his last batch of princess cakes, and then he walks into the walk-in oven. What? And I can't even get my mind around it. So what's mind blowing about this is that in most Grimm's tales, the punishment is put onto the evil person. But in this case, the evil person kind of punishes themselves, or they choose the life of punishing themselves other than being punished. And it's I'm just like, my mind is blown. My mind cannot wrap my mind around that. Sadly, I'm pretty sure Sven stole a lot of kids before then, and I don't know if by killing himself he won, which is really scary to think about, because I think this book got real. The fact that there are mass kidnappings these days, there's a lot of just crazy people out there, so you kind of like, uh-oh, this could happen in real life, right? Don't want to think about it. But what happens here is that it's kind of, I don't want to say it's commentary, but it kind of is about good and evil, and what's really good and what's really evil. The worry with the story is that this is a modern fairy tale for them. This is like one of those real situations that would happen, but the scary part is there anyone that will be able to save them? And that can be very scary to think about. Because when you think about, like, wait, how are we going to get out of this? Because in most of those fairy tales, there's a prince or a woodcutter. How is this going to work out? So I just love this book. I love that it kept me on the edge of my seat. I love how it kept me guessing, because I definitely I wouldn't have thought about it that far where Sven was lonely and that he just wanted some friends to stay with him. You and even though I did might have spoiled a lot, I did not spoil everything. So you'll still be caught off guard by a lot of the things that happen, and I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you would like more of these videos, please hit subscribe. Like this video also if you liked it, and I guess I'll see you next time. Bye guys.